What's good, guys? Hope you all are doing okay. Good morning. We're going to take a look at the S&P. We're going to take a look at all your coin requests, KDA, ADA, XRP for sure. Hope y'all are doing well. Let's see if there's any news today. Let's see over here. No US news, just FOMC at around 11. So this is Bitcoin here on the 4-hour. It's still trending up, so it's looking pretty good. I do think that we could have a breakout here. You see this trend line over here? It's kind of acting like your trend line liquidity. You see how many times we came up to tap it? So traders are placing their sell stop above this line over here. All right, so this becomes our trend line liquidity. So it's likely to be taken out right over here. Now I'm thinking this is an ABC, like this. And remember I said in my previous videos that whenever you want to spot accumulation in the market, you tend to see 3 floors. And we currently see that here, right? This is your first floor, your second floor, and then you have your third floor. It's like your third flush. You actually came down to these lows and did a double bottom here. You could, like, a bear could argue and say that this is our equal low sell side liquidity, like that. I'm sure it's likely to be, I'm sure it's going to be taken out at some point. It doesn't have to be taken out now. But these 3 floors over here, it's highly likely that this could be a local bottom over here. Now I'm looking at the S&P. Let's take a look at the S&P here. And I'm looking at this gap right here. I think there's going to be a pop on Intel as well. So let's check that out. Right here. So it moved up pre-market about 3.6%. So it's looking pretty good so far. But yeah, S&P 500, I do think that we're going to pop up into this gap over here. So we'll see how it plays out. We are trending above the, let's see here. So we're above this 4-hour, like we're above this MA on the 4-hour. If you guys want to take a look at it, it's right over here, this indicator. It's a really good indicator that you can use to track momentum. It's CM Ultimate right over here. It works the best on the hourly, 4-hour, and 12-hour. And you can see here on the hourly, it's above it right now. So we see a kind of a similar setup on BTC as well, right? Very similar setup. So it may just melt up here. You see this over here. So you have your 3 floors. and then you come back up and you take out this high right over here. Okay. So this is your change of character, right? And then your draw on liquidity was this 4-hour fair value gap right over here. So you have a change of character with your draw on liquidity being this 4-hour fair value gap. You come down to test the 23.6% fib. I'll show you guys right here. If we take a fib from the very low here up to the high, you can see we did come down to the 23.6. You see that? Now, usually at the start of bullish trends, whenever you're due for a pullback, it usually only comes down partially to around the 23.6 to 38.2% fib. If you're lucky, you'll get a move down to the 38.2% fib. From what I've seen with Bitcoin specifically, it loves the 23.6% fib as a shallow pullback at the start of a nice trend to the upside. So we came down to this 23.6% fib. The question is, will this hold? And will we get above this level right here at 85,956? So we'll see how that plays out. But if we do get above that level, then we would be targeting this Fibonacci right here at the 50% fib and the 61.8% fib. So this level. Okay. This level right here. And this level. Now, something that would invalidate this bullish scenario is that, number one, we would have to lose our momentum indicator as support. And then we would also have to lose this structural support right here at the 50% fib. Go below the 50% fib, then really the only support we have left is this to say, oh, okay, no, this was just a wave 2. Go below this, then yeah, this would be a wave 4. And then we have one more flush. But judging by the way things are looking, I don't, like, you could see how coiled up it is over here. I would say it's less likely that it goes below this structural support. So we'll see how this pops off here. And we need to monitor the S&P as well. So let's see how this plays out. I'm thinking it takes out the gap here at around 55 to 56. So we'll take a look at all of your coin requests today. I'll try to make this a long stream. Try to stay on for a while, and yeah, we'll take a look at all the nice coins that you guys have. We'll take a look at XRP after Bitcoin, and we're definitely going to take a look at ETH and some setups that I've been eyeing, like Filecoin, Dent, and a few others. So I'll check all that out. But yeah, what I'm thinking here on Bitcoin is that if this is the bullish break, right? And we get above 85,956 and then we come to these levels, then yeah, it's very likely the bottom is in here. But remember, the bearish argument would be that we lose the structural support, lose the 618, lose the 702, and then our draw on liquidity would be these equal lows here. That's the bearish argument. We still have these equal lows that are untapped. But I'm optimistic for now because I think we've hit fear many times throughout this bottoming structure here, right? This is what you tend to see in the market. You just make 3 consecutive lows and you sweep it like this, and you have 3 floors, right? You take this out, you see a little bit of a retrace, and then you have continuation like that, right? And this is exactly what we see right here. So let's see how this plays out. But yeah, so if this is, like I was saying, if this was the bullish scenario, I'm thinking that this is your ABC down, then you have an ABC up, and then a 5-wave move down, or we have a straight 5-wave move up from here, right? Like this. Kind of form, you never know, it might form a little bit of an inverted head and shoulders structure, right? That's how they usually form on BTC. But I'm looking at these equal highs as well. It's not like, it's just a little bit off. You can still consider this like an equal high, but there's, similarly to that of the downside, how we have these equal lows here, these local equal lows, we have these highs as well that act as our liquidity. So we may see something along the lines like this, right? And then in this region right here, I'm thinking that's when alts pop off hard. Like, I'm sure, yeah, they're gonna pop off hard during this move up like this. But then I think if it does come up here, then we'll really start to see the rotation, and then BTC DOM will take a hit. Let's check out BTC DOM. Yeah, so BTC DOM, it's filling this wick here. You see this wick on February 2nd, that was the Bybit. That was the Bybit hack. So it's either this was a wick fill, or we come up just a little bit more to that 786 I was showing you guys. Remember this 786 here? Right here at 65.88%. You can see on the log scale we already hit the 786. But on the linear scale we didn't. We only hit the 702. So that's the question, right? Well, is this considered a wick fill? And we see the drop now like this. A wick fill of this guy right here. Or do we get above the 886 at 63.78, come up for one last blow, and then it drops down from there? I think I made a nice BTC DOM chart here. Yeah, so this is my BTC DOM chart. So for anyone who's heavily into altcoins, we're looking for a push now. We're looking for a push around this region, or we just have a little bit more room to go on Bitcoin dominance, and then we tank from here towards this weekly inversion fair value gap. You see, we already hit the 702. When you take a fib from this high down to this low, we already hit it. 702. But let's take a look here. Market opens in about, I believe, 40 minutes. Thank you so much, Sultan. I appreciate that. Super chat. We'll take a look at PulseX. I think every stream we look at PulseX. And you know, it still looks good. Like, you know, like the stock market went down, but a lot of alts held. A lot of, like, many alts held their structure even though the stock market took a hit. I found that very interesting. So this is PulseX here. It's still above our invalidation level, right? This was our invalidation from weeks back. It only dropped down below it momentarily, and then it went into this ascending accumulation. So there's going to be chop here on PulseX because there's still a lot of FUD, fear, uncertainty in the markets. When there's a lot of uncertainty, this is usually what you get, right? So this is the bottom. No one thinks it's the bottom, right? Especially after so much stuff has happened, so much FUD, right? Then you get this uncertainty, right? Uncertainty, fear, doubt. And then you're like, oh, okay. Highs have been taken out, but then it comes back down. You're like, oh no, it's still a corrective move. And then all of a sudden, boom, right? So this is what I'm thinking here for PulseX. As long as ETH holds, I mean, ETH is on critical support. I think it can hold. But yeah, this is what I'm thinking for PulseX. It's just ascending accumulation in order to confirm move up to the point of control where 70% or more of the volume is traded within this triangle. We would need to see a move above 0. Let me see here. 402259. Okay, once we get a move above this, then we're heading to this yellow line. Get above the yellow line, then we're going to be heading to this level right here at the 702 and the 786. You can kind of think of the 702 and the 786 like a magnet, right? In crypto, right? As soon as you get above this level, then you know for sure it's off to the races, right? We'd be taking a look at the 4.236 extension as a very conservative target, which would be reasonable, found by taking a fib from the highest recorded price within this range down to the low. So that would be about, let me see here, 3056. And then it's likely, like, if you were to just take this structure and flip it on its head, the one-to-one target of this range would be up here at the 1.786. So I place the fib the same way, right? The only difference is that I'm looking at it on log scale. With these fibs, I'm looking at it on linear. So if you look at linear fibs, you get very conservative targets, and then if you pass the 4.236, then you can start looking at the log scale fibs. That's just one tip you can go by. But yeah, that would be 201228. So let's see how this smaller structure plays out here on PulseX. We want to first flip this level right here. Okay, so let's go back to S&P here. Bitcoin, take a look at your other coins that you guys have. And we definitely can't forget XRP. Okay. It's looking pretty good. Boom and boom. Right there, the 50 and the 618. That's what we're targeting first if we flip this level right here. This is our trendline liquidity. Okay, so a lot of people are asking for ADA. We'll definitely take a look at that. XLR for sure. Flare. And yeah, we'll take a look at all of that, guys. No worries. Okay, let's take a look at XRP real quick. Excuse me. Okay, yeah, this is XRP right here. Let's just let me see here. All right. Let's remove all this. We can start from scratch. Just so you guys can see exactly how I'm getting the levels, right? But XRP on the 4-hour, it's still trending up here. Now there is a bearish case to this though, right? The bearish case is that this is a leading diagonal or a wave 4. Like a bear can argue that this is a wave 4, and then we would have to come down below. We would have to come down below this 702.786. You see these two levels? So instead of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, this is your wave 1, and then you come down for a wave 2. It would just be A, B, C, D, E, and then we would go below this 702 and 786, right? But so far it looks okay. This is these are the levels we want to get over. I'll show you. These three levels right here. Okay. 2.8, 2.19, 2.21, and then 2.28 to 2.30. These 4 levels is what bulls need to see on the 4-hour in order to invalidate that this is a leading diagonal and the top is over here. The reason that this could be a local top, a bear could argue, is that we took out these highs, right? We took out these local highs, and then we also came up to the 1.786 right here. So when we take a fib from the last swing high to this swing low, you see how it came up to the 1.786 right here? So as soon as you get above this 2.1986 and 2.2123, then it's very likely we're going to go to 230. Get above 230, then we're going to go to around 270, 260, which would be right over here. Yeah, so you see the 786, it's right there at 270. Let's remove all of the fibs that are irrelevant. And I recommend doing this a lot whenever you're placing fibs so you don't get confused and your chart is as clean as possible. Yeah, so these are the levels right here. So we'll see how this plays out. This could have also been an ABC right here too, right? 3 down in your A, 3 up in your B, and then a 5 down in your C. The only thing is that we would need to see this level hold here. At 210. So this level, it looks pretty bullish so far. And then this is what you usually get, right? Like when you're going to go higher, the market produces these retail pattern traps. Like, for example, this looks like kind of like a head and shoulders structure, right? But it just tends to be they tend to be fake outs when you can already see where you're coming from, right? We're trending up here. So we want to get above this level right here. Okay. Once we get above this level, we're good. Then you know it has momentum. Bitcoin's still pushing. What's up, Erdy? Erdy, you were requesting Mina Coin in the last live stream. I couldn't get to it, but we'll definitely take a look at it this live. If you can't stay around for the whole live, then I'll probably send it to you as a message with the timestamp, or put it in the comments. Okay, so let's take a look at ADA here. I know a few people have been asking for it for a while. No need to worry on ADA. You can see how coiled it is right here on the 4-hour. It's still above our momentum indicator. I would just like to see we also have equal highs here. So yeah, these are very, very likely to be taken out. That would be sitting at 0.66945 right up here. And then our draw on liquidity, we can look at 2 draws on liquidity. It would be this guy right here and this guy. And what I've noticed is the PD array that you're targeting is very likely to be the 702 and the 786. Like, that's just something I've noticed. It's always the 786. There's always a PD array at the 786, or even at the 886, right here. You see? So yeah, next target on ADA would be 71 cent. And then we have these equal highs here. So these are gonna get probably taken out today. QH, BSL, right here. So now this is the small time frame here. on ADA. And like I said with Bitcoin, right? A bear could argue that we have these equal lows here that are untapped. Right? A bear could make that argument that we have a flush down here one more time. But I think it's always important to look at the most important chart that's driving the liquidity, and that would be BTC, right? Is BTC trending up or down right now? Let's see, still trending up. But yeah, ADA, ADA, it's a really nice structure because it's so easy to chart, right? It's just a huge leading diagonal. That's what I see, right? And now you usually get these structures in charts that in assets that are going to last for many, many cycles to come. You get this diagonal structure on the macro. And that usually signifies that it's a leading diagonal. So this would be your wave 1, your wave 2, your 3, your 4, and then we have to have a 5 right here. And then this would be your wave 1, right? Probably be around 2026. Excuse me. Probably be around 2026, and then we have an ABC correction down until 2032 for your wave 2, for your bear market, and then we pop up from there for your next cycle, right? Now, when we're taking a look at targets, we can take a fib from the 2021 high down to the low here. And you can do this very simple. You can do this very simple, right? So your first 2 major targets, or your first 3 major targets, would be these guys right here, the 618, 702, and 786 on the linear scale. So make sure this is unchecked when you're placing your fib, and when you come to your chart, make sure this is on logarithmic. So now it's okay to use linear fibs on a logarithmic chart. A lot of traders, like I know some traders, they say that you're not supposed to, but it actually works, right? You should actually shuffle between log and linear fibs, because you don't really know if the market maker is what the market maker is using. I've noticed that some coins reject better off the linear and some coins reject better off the log. So yeah, these would be your targets right here. Targeting, let's see here. Targeting 4 to 550 around here. And then you're going to have an ABC within each of the waves, right? You have your ABC up for your 1, ABC down for your 2, ABC up for your 3, ABC down for your 4, and then you have your ABC up for your 5. Just have to be patient. As you guys can see, we were just coming down to tap this structural support. So ADA has been in accumulation from 2022 to 2024, so about two years. This is your accumulation range. So I'll show you guys how to spot the best setups in the market. I'll show you guys how to do that in this live stream. You want to look for a price capitulation, okay? And as you guys can see, ADA dipped down about 93%. That's the first thing you want to look for. The second thing you want to look for is time-based capitulation, right? Do we have time-based capitulation? Yeah, we do. We've been ranging, going sideways, going up and down between these two levels for about 875 days. Then we had this would be considered your creek, right? You see how you're creaking down, and then you just have a partial decline down to the 786. And then boom. So this would be called your, this is your ST in phase B. And then you have your second failed breakout. This was your first failed breakout. This is your second failed breakout after your ST in phase B. Then you come down partially, chop around. Then you have what's called your SOS. So this is what's called your sign of strength, and that came down to that came up to the 50. The 38.2% fib. You see how it perfectly tapped it? We'll add the 50 in there. Excuse me. So your sign of strength right here, and then you have your ABC down for your backup phase. Now your backup phase is when we come down to just reset the market, right? This is where all of the euphoria is located, right? You can consider this like a pressure cooker. Like this range right here is your pressure cooker. Then it pops, the lid of the pressure cooker pops, and then it comes back down and it settles at the top of this range. And this would be called your BU. Okay, now once this BU is over, and on the small time frame, once you have confirmed bullish order flow, right? we still got to confirm it, right? We got to get above these equal highs here. Once you confirm bullish order flow, then you know for sure that we're going into phase E in Wyckoff accumulation, or sorry, phase D. And yeah, that would just be continuation of the trend. You know, Link is doing something very similar. If you look at Link, I'll show you guys Link. I think I made it on this chart right here. See, this is the chart I made last week. So it perfectly came up there, and then we have a small retrace. But yeah, let's take a quick look at Link. Okay, so look at Link over here. You see how you had your accumulation for 470 days? This was your pressure cooker expanding and popping off, right? This was your pressure cooker. This is your pop off, and then it just comes down to settle. The only difference is that this formed a flat pattern. So you had your 3 down in your A, your 3 up in your B, and then a 5-wave move to the downside. Now, in order to confirm that this is a full 5 waves here, we won't really know yet. But in order to confirm that this is your C wave termination, we would want to see a move above this level. Once you can get a daily close above that level, then we know for sure, right? And then this would be your draw on liquidity on the daily. Right here. You guys see? 14 to 15. So let's go back to 88 here. It looks pretty good. Everything is looking fine. Everything is going as planned. Let's take a look at some more coins here. Let's see what you guys got. One guy says Fartcoin hot air rises. That's hilarious. You guys are so funny. All right, so let's see what other coins we're gonna look at today. Let's jump to the S&P real quick. Actually, let's take a look at S&P futures. Let's just see how that's doing right now. Okay, this is S&P. So now, something I wanted to point out on the S&P is this is a piercing line pattern on the weekly. So now it's actually a bullish reversal pattern. We can go on the Heikin-Ashi chart and you could see it more significantly here. You see how on the weekly you take out these lows and then you come back up, you come back into this range, and from these lows you're up about 12%. So this is the piercing line pattern on the S&P. So that's why I'm pretty confident that this could be just a large wave forward. But we'll find out. We'll find out together. I want to show you guys this chart here that I made on the S&P. And yeah, it'll put a lot of things into perspective. So this is the wave count right here on the S&P, right? This was the top in 2021. In the crypto market, this was the top, right when the S&P topped. You had your bullish descending broadening wedge pattern. And then your wave count started from here. I'll make it thicker so you guys can see, right? Leading diagonal for your wave 1, flat pattern for your wave 2, right? I just want you guys to see all these waves here. Maybe I have to increase this thing so you guys can see, right? Leading diagonal for your wave 1, flat for your 2, and then we had your and then this was just a third wave, right? We came up to the 200% fib found by taking a fib from the 2021 high down to the 2022 low. Came up to the 200% perfectly. We perfectly tapped 6121 and then did a double top here. This move leading up to your wave 3 high was a ending diagonal, right? Then we had your flat pattern. 3 down in your A, 3 up in your B, and then a 5-wave move down in your C with an extension in the 5th, coming down to the 50% retracement, or just near it. Okay, and then what do we have on the weekly? On the weekly, we have a piercing line pattern. So now all we want to see here going forward is just continuation. Okay, that's what we want to see now. That's what we want to see. Let's see if we can fill this gap here. Okay. Kind of a similar structure in the crypto market, right? If you look at the S&P, it's just slowly grinding up, and then we have our draw on liquidity right just above, right? And then if you take a look at some coins, like for example Link, same thing. Bitcoin, same thing. So we'll see how it plays out. Okay, let's take a look at some other coins that you guys have. So let me just pop this chat up. Also wanted to point out something very interesting is that USDT dominance, we've hit critical resistance. And I'm sure, as most of you know, USDT dominance moves the opposite to that of crypto. So if this moves down, crypto will go up. If this moves down, if this moves up, crypto will go down. So you see how we hit the 786 here? We tapped the 786 already. You see? Boom. So what if that was the top on USDT? If that was the top on USDT, then we're in for a very bullish trend. And then you hit the 1.382. So on the macro we hit the 786, right? But then when you zoom in and you just take a fib from the last swing high down to the low, you see how we come up to the 1.382? Now that's very important. The reason that's important is because in crypto, whenever you have a fake out to the upside, you tend to go no further than the 1.382 extension. That's what I've noticed. And that's how I've nailed so many XRP tops from doing that, because XRP loves to do that. I remember even when XRP was consolidating back in the day, it would love to just, have a fake out above the highs, tag the 1.382, and then come rushing down. So let's see how this plays out here on USDT dominance. We're going to keep a close eye on this because it does move the opposite to that of crypto. So we'll definitely take a look. Okay, you see we're on the 702 support right here. So Matt Grimes in the chat is saying full moon just happened to the stars. Is full moon is that a bullish thing? I've heard that it's bullish if you get a full moon. I'm not sure. We'll definitely take a look at Cake. I know. And yeah, we'll take a look at Fartcoin for sure. All right, DXY. This is the DXY here. We actually called this top. We've been calling every top and bottom perfectly on the DXY in the Discord. This was back in April 7th. Around April 6th, April 7th, we called this top here on the DXY. This diagonal structure, and then we dropped like this, boom. So I have a wave count right here. Let me just pull it up. All right, this is the wave count on the DXY. We may come up here, or I'm thinking we have one. around this region right here. We should see a little bit of a retrace, but ultimately I do expect lower. I'll tell you why I expect lower on the DXY. Okay, let's go to the 4-hour or the daily. And this was, like I said, this was Wyckoff redistribution. So redistribution is when you already have a downtrend and then the price pauses out, you have a fake out to the upside, which is merely just a retrace. You see we tagged the 702 and then came rushing down. This was your first wave to the downside right here. Okay, this was your ABC correction up, A, B, C. And now we're likely going to see continuation down. But the reason I don't think that it's the bottom yet is because we've been targeting this 786 for a while now on the DXY. You see this 786 at around 94, 95. Let me see here. And yeah, I expect a little bit lower and then we see a retrace. A little bit lower. Let me just make sure this is pinpoint, so this is super accurate. Let me see here. Yeah, so a little bit lower here to around 98.3. Like right here. And then we have an ABC up from the 618. And then we have one last blow. Right down to the 786, right here. At 95, 94. Okay. And then, yeah, I think that's it. And then we go up from there. So yeah, that's what I think on the DXY. You guys can see this wave count here. It's fully mapped out on the small time frame. In the case where we get a 4-hour close, let me see here. One sec. In the case where we get a daily close above 101.363, then we would have to reevaluate this count. Maybe this wave 4 is a little higher. We'll see how it plays out level for level, but I'm still targeting 94, 95, right? And then on the macro, it would just be an ABC. This would be your A wave, your 5 down in your A, 3 up in your B, and then another 5 down in your C. Boom. And we would still be maintaining long-term trend too. You see this long-term trend all the way back from the subprime crisis? You see, we'd still be maintaining it. So, yeah. Okay, this guy keeps asking for Fartcoin, so we'll take a quick look. I'm sure there's like a million Fartcoins. I don't know if I'm gonna get the right one. I think it's this one. I don't know. 92 mil. Why is there 2 Fartcoins? Okay, I guess we'll go with this one. This doesn't look right. Or is it right? I don't know. Is this right, chat? Is this the right Fartcoin? Thank you so much for that, guys. Appreciate it. Okay, the first one, okay. Fartcoin, that's crazy. All right. Okay, so it looks like I already did analysis here. Oh, so it's following our analysis perfectly. It bounced off our level. If you guys remember, we did this analysis in the last live stream, and we only had about 4 daily closures under the 786. Not bad, right? Pretty accurate. And I said that if we held this level, we're good. Fartcoin is good to go. And then it's going to come up for a B wave here at around 326 to 361. So I still expect higher on Fartcoin. I expect higher for sure. And if it gets above 361, then it's going for those higher extensions. We'll take a look at the 1.618, the 2.618, the 200%. We'll take a look at all of it right here. Okay. So, I mean, like, look, if these coins are popping off, then there's still people interested in crypto. Like, crypto is here to stay. These coins are very risky though, but what I'm trying to say is when you see meme coins popping off, that means that there's people taking interest. So you want to look for the coins that are, you know, at the lows and that look like they want to pop off. Like, we can take a look at Dent, for example. Okay, Intel is up. So if you guys are not in the Telegram I said that I do expect a nice rise on Intel. And we're up about 4% pre-market. Apple, let's check Apple. Oh my lord. Up 6%. Pretty good, pretty good. Let's take a look at SMH. Semiconductors. Yeah, it's all up. It's all up pre-market. Just like I said in the Telegram. I knew these assets would pop. Let me see. Nvidia is up. Let's go. All right, so yeah, it's looking pretty good so far. This is where I expect the S&P to go. Fill this gap at 55 and 56. Let's take a look at a chart I made here. Let's go back to XRP. I forgot what chart I was going to pull up. Let's take a look here. Okay, yeah, so you see XRP, it needs to get above this. It needs to get above this line right here. You see this? 217. Oh yeah, I wanted to show you guys Dent. That's the coin I wanted to show you guys. So this is Dent over here. Now remember, like, I'm going to show you Flare as well. I was eyeing Flare. I was looking at the manipulation that these market makers are pulling, and like it's so obvious that it's a fake out to the downside. This is Dent over here. Okay, so you guys see Dent? Look at this Elliott wave structure, okay? On the daily, right? You have a 3 up in your A, 3 down in your B, and now as long as we stay above the lows and make an attempt to rally back to this range, then I can confidently say that we're going to have a 5-way move up to the 618, sitting at 0.0068. That'd be about a 9.5x, or let me see, about a 9x from current price. Don't leverage this coin. Just if you have extra money, it would be a pretty good play, not financial advice. Very risky coin, moves pretty volatile. So if you can't stand the heat, then don't buy this coin. But I like this setup. Like a very similar setup is like Filecoin. I'm gonna show you guys this. Take a look at Filecoin. I'm gonna show you a bunch of these charts. You see? Filecoin, same thing, right? 3 up in your A, 3 down in your B, and then you have the same type of manipulation algo where you form a little bit of a head and shoulders structure. Remember, whenever you see a head and shoulders structure at the lows, it's likely, and then you see a breakdown below, and then an attempt to rally back into the range, then you know for sure it's a fake out. XLM did the same thing. H-bar did the same thing. Look at XLM. You see this? Left shoulder, head, right shoulder, move below psychological support. Right here. Like right there. Boom. And boom. And then it popped off like that. All of the retail went short over here. Right? H-bar, same thing. H-bar, same thing. You see? One could argue that this is some type of double top formation, or right? And then you move below psychological support, and then we blast off. So many coins like this. Let's take a look at Flare. I know a lot of people in the chat hold Flare. Here's my prediction on Flare. It doesn't go back below this sell side over here at 0.012. That's my prediction. I may be wrong, but I don't think it goes back down below that low. I think this is where all of the smart money is accumulating, or has accumulated, right over here. This is where Hugo was accumulating, right? When everyone went short below this line, boom. And we did the exact same thing right here. Back in October. You see, you had your psychological support, you swept it, and then you pop back above it. And then off we went. And Sologenic did the same thing. Right here. So this is Flare, and then this is Sologenic. It's literally the same manipulation algo. You guys see that? Same manipulation algo where we sweep the lows. And the retraction back into the range is so violent. You can see that even on the hourly, we have bullish order flow here. I actually did say in the Telegram it was ready to squeeze higher around here. And look where we are. Right? Swept your sell side, had your change of character right over here, had your retrace down to your bullish breaker, and then you have continuation of the trend. Okay? Very, very simple. Okay, so stock market, let me see, is it open? I think it's open. Yeah, stock market's open. Or less than 1 minute. Let's see what's gonna happen here. Thank you so much, Ricky. I appreciate that super chat. Thank you so much, bro. Welcome to the channel. Hope you're doing well, Mina. It's nice to see you in the live. Very nice to see you guys here. Okay, so Ricky wanted for me to take a look at Casper. Yeah, we can take a look at it. I actually did a wave count on Casper for my members. I think we nailed the bottom perfectly. Let me see. Yeah, so Casper looks good. So where's everyone from in the chat? Just wondering. I'm in Thailand right now. It's this crazy festival. It's called Songkran Festival. Philippines, nice. Cool. Yeah. I haven't been to the Philippines yet. I want to check it out. China? German living in Bali, nice. Yeah, Bali's really nice. Bali's really nice. Thailand, it's really hot, bro. It's really hot here. There's a festival going on. It's like kind of like their New Year's. Boston, UK. Nice. Kenyan. Awesome, great. Kenyan living in Boston. That's pretty cool. Okay, so this is Casper here. This is a bullish setup. You know, it's a bullish setup as long as this 786-886 holds right over here. Remember, like I say, in crypto, you can use the 786-886 like a magnet. If it taps that 786-886 and then has a nice retrace back in to its previous range, then you know there's some action going on. This is what I would want to see here going forward on the small time frame. Okay, so you have your equal high buy side liquidity taken, right? And then this is also your change of character. And then you'd want to look to capitalize on continuation higher off the 23.6 to 38.2% fib. We're actually on the 38.2% fib right now. So let me see here. or we're just above it on the log scale. Okay. And then you want to look to see if there's any inefficiencies below that line up with the fibs. Like there's this big one over here, but it looked like it already tapped into it. So yeah, these are the fibs you'd want to get in at, not financial advice. Go below the 702 at 0.0085, then it's likely it still hasn't bottomed and it needs to chop around a bit longer before it continues up higher. But yeah, right, these fibs here. Okay, so these fibs. And then for Casper, it's actually a really interesting structure because you can kind of consider it like a power of 3 setup. So a power of 3 setup it's like accumulation, accumulation, manipulation, and then you have distribution. So this is where your accumulation is, right here. And take in how long this accumulation was for. You had so many retail accumulating within this box over here. 646 days. And you can see that every single time we tried to break out here, there was a rejection, right? Every single time. Boom. You see every time we slam down. Slam. Slam. That's the composite operator. Or in other words, the hidden hand. That's the hidden hand preventing the price from running because they want to drive the price down below the established range. But then you have retail traders buying into this, right? And you would think, like the normal mind would think, oh, okay, this is 646 days of accumulation. Of course we're going to go up. It only makes sense, right? But you can see, just judging by this price action, that there's a concerted effort to keep the price down below these highs. I'll show you a few coins like this. Like Kava is a good example of this. And then we have your flush, right? So this is your accumulation. This is your manipulation. This is your spring. You can call it your spring. You have your initial advance, your throwback to extremes, which is the 786 and the 886. And as long as we hold these levels, then it wouldn't surprise me that we go in for your third phase of the power of 3 setup: accumulation, manipulation, distribution, right? Let's take a look here at the weekly time frame on Casper. And a very simple thing that you can do to find the target for expansion is you just take a fib from the drop-off point before we had the capitulation down. So from this high down to the low, and then just take a look at the 1.618 on the linear scale, because we want to be conservative. Okay, there you go. These are your targets for Casper. Boom. And from current price, about a 12x, 17, and 20x. Very, very safe target, 7x. Ultra safe target, 4.5x. But remember the invalidation levels, guys. This is your invalidation, these two. And something, you can take a look at some coins. The rest of the market can be very confusing as to knowing if it's the bottom or not, right? But you can look at a few coins and you can immediately know, like this. Yeah, that was the market bottom. Like, you can take a look at most coins and there's a lot of uncertainty. But when you take a look at a few coins and you see stuff like this, right? Where you have these sweeps and then a rapid rise back in to the range, you're like, oh, okay, this is the market bottom. You can do it like that. Like even back here, this was November 6th on Flare. Yeah, November 5th, we went below this established range and then we shot back up into the range. And we had this move, we had this manipulation move while the rest of the altcoins were very uncertain at the time. They were consolidating and in a range, but you had this move going on that whole time. So my point is if you're unsure where the market is going to go, try taking a look at a few coins that are giving the signal. Like this flare back in November gave the signal because it moved first. You can kind of treat it like a barometer in a way. Right? This is real bullish. I remember in the Telegram we were saying this is all bullish order flow. Change of character, break of structure, sell side swept, change of character, move back down to bullish breaker, and then you have continuation. Let's go take a look at Bitcoin now that the stock market is open here. Okay, so still consolidating. Just want to check here. Maybe there's still a little bit more consolidation we got to do here. Don't forget, it's had a change of character here. Change of character just means that we have a trend shift. The trend has shown that it's shifting. Then it rejected off of this 4-hour FEG. So don't be surprised if we see a move back down to these fibs over here before we continue higher. Right? Any of these fibs here. If we go higher, then that's great as well, right? We got to get above 85,956. S&P, let's see what's up here. Let's look at the 10-minute time frame here. Let's check ES. Okay, so it's looking good so far. Just this candle, it's looking suspect. Maybe this is a bearish abandoned baby candlestick pattern. I don't know. We'll have to wait and find out. RTY? Is this a diamond bottom pattern? This could be a diamond bottom. But this candlestick right here, it's looking a little suspect, so I don't know. Let's see. It's still gonna range. Let's go back to BTC. BTC here. All right, so welcome, David. Hope you're doing well, bro. Glad to see you here in the live. We'll definitely take a look at XRP and HBAR, no problem. And yeah, we'll take a look at Cake for sure. I like Cake. It's a good coin. There's there's a lot of I mean, I was gonna say there's a lot of insider trading on Cake. Like I can just see by the way it moves, but I mean that's like with every other coin. But I've noticed it's like Cake is really manipulated. Like just by the way it moves. So like you gotta stay on top of it because when it drops hard. But when it pops, it's gone for sure. Okay, let's take a look at Cake here. So on the hourly, I'll tell you that this is a distribution structure right here. This is the hourly, so don't make any rash decisions based off this analysis because this is just the hourly time frame. This was your distribution structure on the hourly time frame. Wouldn't surprise me we come down to these retracements here. Right? To at least the 50. To at least the 50%. And then same with many alts on the small time frame. We have this little bit of a rising wedge over here. So we'll see how it plays out. But in regards to the long-term outlook on Cake, we can keep it very simple. I think let me see where I put that chart. I made so many charts on Cake. Okay, it's not in here. Let me see. So remember guys, if BTC drops right now, don't be alarmed because we're just coming down to the retracements and nothing shows us yet that this is going to have a full breakdown. We have a lot of support here, right? So let's see how this plays out. But yeah, I'm trying to find this Cake chart. Okay, yeah, this is it. This is the Cake chart right here. This is what I think is going to happen. I think it's just going to consolidate in here and get squeezed. There's no doubt it's in consolidation. So if you are looking to buy into this coin, just DCA. Don't ape in. In fact, don't ape into any coin. Always DCA. Right? Because I would say 90% of the time when you buy and you think it's the bottom, it's likely going to go lower than your entry. So always DCA. If you have, like, for example, 10K, 20K, you go 2K, 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 right? You just go in small batches, right? And then you just ladder in at the fibs or the pivot points. But yeah, this is what I think here on Cake. As you guys can see, it's just been within this accumulation structure for about 1,000 days now. I do for sure see a squeeze to 674. and then a retrace down to, for your backup phase, at around 440, maybe even 414. And then one last push up to 10 to 12, maybe even a wick to 13, 14, maybe. And then we come down again. That's what I've noticed. That's what I've noticed in the market. Whenever you have your accumulation range, and then you're ranging like this, and then you pop off finally, you come back to the top of the range to backtest it. And most market participants think that, yeah, that was the backtest. Let's just put all our net worth in right now because the backtest is complete. Then it does this, and then it comes back down like this, boom. And it actually goes a little bit lower than there. And then that was the real backtest. And then we have continuation. That's what I've noticed in the market. And you know, like, when you've been in the market for so long, like, you just remember like these algos. That's how I know. I think DGB did this. Like, this move was so like crazy on DGB. Let's check out DGB. Or no, it actually came all the way down. Let me see. Link. Oh yeah, Link is a good example, you see? They think that's the back test, and then you go, and then you have one little push, and then boom, come back down one more time, right? And then we go off from there. Okay? Yeah, that's what I've seen. Let's take a look at BTC. And then, yeah, we'll go back to XRP for sure. Let's just go to XRP right now. Let's just see what's going on here. So this is the bearish scenario I was showing you guys, right? The bullish scenario is that this is just Wyckoff reaccumulation. What was the chart that I put it on? Let me just see. I'm just going to open up my Discord, one sec. Okay, it's right here. Okay, so this is the wave count here on XRP. I showed this in the Telegram. You guys see? This is a diagonal structure. It's either a leading diagonal or a wave 4. We have to be very careful. We have to be mindful that we have run into the 1.786. And, you know, we are below this level here. So let's see. Let's see what goes on. But don't be surprised if we come down to these retracements, because we ran into a little bit of resistance here. As soon as you get above it, then we're likely going to have continuation up. 245 to 256. Found by taking a fib from our March 2nd high. But yeah, that's XRP. Let me just zoom out a bit. I'm too zoomed in here. There we go. Boom. Okay. Yeah, I mean, Bitcoin. Yeah, Mina. So, Bitcoin is doing the same structure actually. Let's take a look at S&P again. Let's just see what's going on here. Is it holding? Oh, let me see. Will we reach our gap? Let's see if we reach our gap here. I think we're going to reach it. I have a feeling. It's going to take out these highs here. Now, Mino was asking. Mina was asking, is XRP giving us a hint on to the downside? Now, we may have a little bit of a move down, but my bias is that it's likely we bottomed. That bias could be wrong. It'll only be proven wrong once we go below the 786. But yeah, let's just see how it plays out. Okay, so Bannon wants me to take a look at Hex. We can take a look at Hex, no problem. CRO, Tony Valid is asking for CRO. All right, let's take a look at CRO. You know, CRO is looking okay. I mean, since the last live streams, it hasn't invalidated any of our levels. It's looking pretty good. Let's go on the 3-day. Looks fine. You see, back in 2019 to 2021, this was a huge leading diagonal. You guys see that? Where the waves are overlapping each other? Boom. And then you have your throw over of the diagonal, and then your flush down for your bear market. Now it looks like we're starting our third wave, or our C wave to the upside. I think it's a C wave. Let's see, it's at 8 cents right now. Conservative target for now, I would just put it at, let's see here. Conservative target 129, 116 to 129, and 51 to 77 cent. 51 to 77 cent because this is the 786 on the linear and the log scale. When you take a fib from the all-time high down to the bear market low. Right? So these are your intermediate targets where you want to take profit, not financial advice. Get above 77, and it's very likely we're going to go to this 110 to 150 area. So yeah, this is what you see in the market, right? You have your leading diagonal, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and this is your A wave or your wave 1. Then you have your ABC down, and this would be your B wave or your wave 2. And then you have your wave C or 3. C or 3. So now a real world example of this is XRP. It had the notorious leading diagonal back in 2021, 2020 during the COVID scare, or sorry, the SEC scare. So now this is your wedge, right, on XRP? So each wave is going to produce 3 subwaves, 3 down in your A, 3 up in your B, 3 down in your C, 3 up in your D, 3 down in your E. A, B, C, D, E, right? So back here in 2020, you had your leading diagonal right here. You see this leading diagonal? And this COVID dump, or sorry, this SEC dump, it was all planned out on the charts. That's just what I think. I could be wrong, but this was so perfect here. Like for it to just come down here, like from this area, because look where this was. It hit the 1.236. So you're telling me that the SEC news came out right there at the technical target of your 5th wave? Right? It's all Fugazi. It's all algos. Okay, so your 5 wave move up, 3 down in your B, and then 5 up in your C. Very simple. This is exactly what we see with CRO, just on a larger scale, right? 2, boom, like this. And then this is your ABC. A, B, C. Boom, like that. And that's what we see here on CRO, just on a larger scale. All right, S&P. Let's see here. Okay, so we had a gap up here on the S&P. I'm just looking for these highs to be taken out here at 54.63. Let's take a look at Intel very quickly. Intel Corporation. Boom, looks pretty good so far. Nvidia. Very similar structure to that of Bitcoin. Don't you guys notice that? You see how it's just grinding up in this diagonal type formation? Even GME, very similar structure here on GME. Oh, so GME, I'm very bullish on GME. I'll show you guys the full wave count. I think I put it here. Not sure where I put it. Probably put it in this layout. But yeah, bullish on GME. I think we're going to fill this gap here. We're already tapping into it, so All right, let's go back to XRP. See what's going on. Okay, so Martin is asking for mover. We can take a look at mover, no problem. Vic C is asking, can you check XRP in comparison with XRP? Yeah, sure. And Tony is asking for ADA again. Sorry, I already did ADA, but we can check it again, no problem. Let me see here. What other coins you guys got? All right. One of the members here was asking. I got a really nice wave count on Sui, Tony. I'm gonna show you my Sui wave count. Okay, Cape Town Rocks. He's asking for Flare. He's from South Africa. That's very nice. Yeah, there's actually a lot of good traders in Africa. I know. Yeah, Mina is from Africa too. Abarigani. All right. Let's take a look here at let me see. Russell 2000. We got to take a look at the reason we have to keep our eye on the Russell is because it's going to breathe life into our alts. All right. Even the Russell came down all this way, guys. But I noticed alts they didn't lose structure. Yeah, they got a little shaken up, but they didn't really lose bullish structure. We came down to the 786. We actually dipped below it down to around the 88.6% fib. Now we're back above the 786. Okay, looking for this gap to get filled at around 2032 to 1966. Same as the S&P, right? There's still a gap there. But we're gonna have to carve out a bottom. Remember, it doesn't happen all in one shot. Sometimes it does, but from a correction of this magnitude, it won't happen in one shot. It'll take some time to carve out. But yeah, this is what I see on the Russell. I do expect higher here to 1962 to 2032, just to fill this gap right here. Sorry, I'm just taking a look at this news here. Alright, there's some Nvidia news. Let me just take a look at Nvidia real quick. Okay, just checking. Yeah, Nvidia to manufacture AI supercomputers in the US for the first time. Pretty good news. Pretty good news for Nvidia. Kind of looks like Bitcoin here, right? Where the price is just congested like that. You know, I actually like what's going, like, I like this structure here on Nvidia because you see how we swept this low? You see how we swept this low right here? And we just dip below it. And then we're back into it. And now on the 4-hour momentum indicator, we're trending up. So, looks pretty good so far. Let's see if we can get to above 120. Let's take a look at BTC. Or no, we'll XRP for now. Where did I put that chart? That's so strange. It just went away. I don't know. I must have deleted it by accident. But yeah, these are the retracements here on XRP. We'll just simplify it. Boom. And then you have this guy right here. Like that. Okay? We just need to get above this level here. That's all we need to do. Once you get above that level, then we're going to around 160, 170. If you take a fib from this significant high on March 2nd, before we enter into this next leg of capitulation, down to the low on April 7th. You see the 786 is at 269 there. So I want to see a move above this 218, 221 level. All right, so we took a look at the Russell. Tony is asking for Sui. And no worries, Martin, we're going to get to Mover. I won't forget about that. XLM and Hex for sure. We're going to do all of it. Flare as well, yeah. I actually did Flare. I did Flare in the beginning, but we'll take a look at it again, no problem. All right, let's take a look at Sui. I'm bullish on Sui, man. Came right down to the 702. You guys see that? This was our Wyckoff accumulation range, right over here. You see how we came down to back test it as support? Like that. Okay. So we're looking at a target on Sui at, so you want to ladder out all the way up, but you want to first start laddering out at the 1.618. When we take a fib from our January high down to this low here on April 7th on the linear scale. So when you're placing the fib, make sure this box is unchecked. And then what you can also do to find confluence on the targets is you take your trend-based fib. So just go to your Fibonacci tool section and click this second one right here where it says trend-based fib extension. You take a trend-based fib from the bottom of your wave 1 to the top of your wave 3, and then down to the bottom of your wave 4, like right here. And then you'll notice that the targets will line up with each other, which will allow you to formulate exit targets. Very simple, right? You just got to use a combination of fibs, and then you just place boxes like this. Boom. You guys see? So 670 to 734, 1060 to 1156, and then 1387 to 15. And then we come down for your bear market, because this is a 5-wave move. You can even do something like this, just to give you more of a visual, right? And your 5th wave will always be your throw over or your wave of excitement before you move down back into this range. So like I was showing, excuse me, like I was showing, you come down to the top of the range, you have one more push up, and then you come to revisit the top of the range again. But you go just a little bit lower than this low. So like maybe around here will be the bear market at around $1, less than $1.50. And that would line up with an average decline, because in the crypto market, once you reach the tops, you come down by at least 90%, or sorry, on average, you come down 90%, 90 to 93% on average. So let's say it topped out here at around 14 or 15 bucks, a 90% drop would take you down back below these lows. If this is the low, which I think it is, because we did come down to this 702 here. You guys see? See how we came down to this 702? Let's see what it looks like on the log scale. Yeah, 38.2. So let's see how it plays out. What's up, Jorge? Hope you're doing well, bro. He's asking, you're asking, did you do Dent on the lower time frame? I did do Dent on the lower time frame. We can take a look at it right now very quickly. And then we're going to move on to XLM and then Mover for sure, because I know Martin has been asking for that. Yeah, this is Dent. So this is Dent on the small time frame. You see, this is the daily, but you can see how each of the waves are plotted out. We can even go down to the 4 hour. You see how we have ending diagonal within the 5th wave here? Now an ending diagonal means that the trend or the downtrend is coming to an end. I've caught so many setups in so much huge moves just by trading the 5th wave of the ending diagonal. And what you can actually do, I bet there's going to be bullish divergence here, because when you have this type of price action in which the asset is coiled up like this, where you have overlapping waves, you tend to form bullish divergence from your wave 3 low down to your wave 4. Let me see. No, not very significant divergence, but it did. This fifth wave did dip into oversold territory. So I'm thinking it's the ending diagonal is finished. The only thing we would need to confirm that is just a move above these two levels right here. Uh, 0.00738 and 0.00767. Okay? We need to get above these two levels. Also, something I wanted to point out is that whenever you see a rising wedge in the market, and you can count 5 waves just with the naked eye, that's likely not the top. Because I know, because I've seen this so many times. So, for example, let's say this is your rising wedge, right? We see the exact same thing with XRP. We have a rising wedge and we have 5 waves. You can clearly see that there's 5 waves in here, and it's at the top of the rising wedge. It'll break down and then it'll do this. And everyone goes short over here for the anticipation of a little bit more of a significant move, right? But then it actually comes back up. And what do we see over here? We see that here. We had your rising wedge, a very small breakdown, very shallow, and then a move back up, right? XRP, same thing, yeah? XRP, same thing. So far, let's just see a move back. Let's just see a move above the 786, 702. Once we get a move above that level, then we're good. Still holding trend. All right, let's take a look at XLM, and then we'll go on to mover. XLM's looking okay. It's looking fine. Yeah, same thing, right? Rising wedge. We have the initial breakdown, which is this guy over here, but and then we get bought back up. You can even look at it like this too, right? Like an ascending triangle, like a compression pattern in a way. Kind of look at it like that. You could. We just need to see where it's going to break to. This kind of reminds me like the push in November. Like if you look at a lot of coins, like if you look at Total 3 back in November, it kind of did something similar, right? You guys see that? Like it's a very rough sketch of a compression pattern, ascending triangle. It doesn't really touch so much. Like it's not a textbook ascending triangle, but regardless, it's still compressed. So we just have to see. Also, something I wanted to point out. Total 3 is on the 702. Right here. One sec. I'll show you guys. You guys see? Hit the 702. Now, I know I said in my previous videos that you have to be careful of the 702. Like, You can produce so many bottoms off the 702, but at the same time, they can also act as the biggest fake outs. So like, for example, you come down to the 702, you have your push up, and then you slam back down below these lows to the 786, and then you pick up from there. So are we seeing the same thing, or is this the bottom? Well, we have to break this resistance first. Let's get some confirmation going. More importantly, we did come down to these March highs. This is actually what I was looking for here. This is our trendline liquidity right here. So, okay, let's go back to XLM. And, you know, something I've noticed on XLM the other day is that it came down to the 702. I'll show you. It actually came down to the 786. Right here. If we take a fib from, let me see, from our July low up to our November high, if we take it from this low in September or this low in October, same thing. I think this is the bottom here on XLM. That's my bias. If I'm wrong, then we'll reevaluate, but I think this is the bottom. We may see shakeouts though. Like on the small time frame, you'll see shakeouts. No doubt. But on the high time frame, this looks pretty bottomed. See how we just came to the 786? We topped right there. Very simple, right? Now we can take a fib from this November high down to this low in April. Let's just check out some targets here. So I expect XLM to for sure go above 81 cent. I do expect it in 2025. Maybe it's in the later half, but this looks bottomed here. And then what we can do is take a fib from the all-time high down to the low. See if we have any confluence here. So I mean, if 20 cent holds, if 0.20481 holds, then wouldn't surprise me we come up to this region right here. That level right there. I think he could hit that. Yeah, around 162, 163. That's where you'd want to look to take major profit. Because that would also be the one-to-one extension of this move. Right? If we were to just put it on top of each other, you can see 1-to-1 extension is right there at 163. And then what it's probably going to do, it's probably going to come down a bit for your A wave, come up for your B wave to around $2, maybe 175. Then you have your C wave down to tap your previous all-time high as support, right? And even from there, let's see, be about a 70% drop. I'm not exactly sure how this correction is going to play out, but a textbook move like this where you have equal highs, you tend to come down. Like if this is impulsive, you come down like this to tap it as support, your previous all-time high. And then we see the push up from there, or this is your A wave, then you have a B wave, then you come down for a C wave like that. We'll see how it plays out. Let's not worry too much about what the bear market is going to look like, and let's just look at what the targets are in front of us. And we see 162 for XLM. Okay, so hope you're doing well, Fotina. I did take a look at PulseX at the beginning of the stream. We can take a look at it again though, no problem. I know many people here have also been asking for Hex, so we're just gonna take a look at that real quick, and then we'll take a look at Mover. So yeah, this is Hex here. I think we've seen the bottom on Hex. That's my wild prediction. 5-wave move up, head and shoulders pattern, right? 5-wave move up, you have your ABC down. And if you look a little closer, if Hex rallies back to this level right here at 0.00193, if it rallies back to this level and then gets a daily close above, then this is likely a fake out, and it's going to run up for your wave 3. And then and then what we can do is we can take a fib from the very high down to this low, and then these would be all your exit targets right here. So I still have high hopes for Hex. Yeah, about 1,000%, 1,000 to maybe even 4,500%. Very risky coin, but nice risk to reward. Yeah, so I would say this is conservative for now. About a 12x at the 50%. Okay, XRP is still strong here on the 4-hour. Doesn't look bearish, it's still strong. It's holding this trend line so far. Or sorry, this MA, momentum indicator. Remember, this is what I want to see on XRP. I just want to see a move above this level. Okay. Get above this level, then we're good. Hi Mina. So Mina is asking what indicator that is. So go on the Discord, Mina. Check the trading basics section. I put this here. It's CM_ultimate_MA by Chris Moody. Just make sure it's the version 2. Really good indicator. It works good on the 4-hour, hourly, 12-hour, daily. And remember, guys, stay away from high leverage unless you're very experienced. And even then, even if you're experienced, if you're in the crypto market and you're using high leverage, it can get very risky, especially if you're not managing risk properly. You can go on tilt, right? So be careful of high leverage. But yeah, this is the indicator, Mina. CM_ultimate. Pretty cool. Still trending up. Still trending up. Look how well it worked on Dent back in the day. Worked well on so many coins. Okay, so look at Dent here. You guys see this? This is the 4-hour on Dent. You see how well it's holding above this momentum indicator? Now, look back here. Look back here on the 4-hour. Let me just find it here. Trying to find it. It's not loading. Let's go on the daily. Okay, yeah, you see this on the daily? Like, look at that. That's crazy. Like, you knew, like, not to touch it. Like, if you knew about this indicator back then, like, you would have just held. And then when you see something like this, like, let's say you didn't sell right here. Like, let's say it dropped below, but you didn't sell. All you would have to do is just wait for a retrace back into it, or a back above it. Then once it dips back below again, then boom, you exit right there. And then you're still exiting at the highs relative to where it went to in the bear market. You see? Boom, you just saved yourself a 93% loss. Really cool, really, really cool. And then what you're going to see, now you want to look for these explosive moves where it doesn't tap or go below the momentum indicator too much. That's how you know you're in the parabolic phase. But when it's doing this, like where it's just like a slow grind up, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, just don't touch the position. It's likely still building a base, right? But then when you see this extreme deviation where you don't really come down to it for quite some time, maybe you tap it a bit, that's how you know you're in the last parabolic phase. And then when you see a move down below, and you may not sell here, and that's okay. Just wait for a retrace back above it. Then once it goes back down again, boom, exit your position, and then you're good. But I was gonna look at some. Let's take a look at Velo, guys. I like this setup on Velo. It may still have one more push up. I like this coin Velo. Like, look at that. Like, look at this push from the lows. Like, that's pretty strong. 47% from the lows. But remember, VLOW, it's in a macro corrective structure. It shouldn't matter too much, but just know it's not for long-term hold. It's just for speculation bet. Okay. This is VLOW. You guys see? This was your wave 1, wave 2. Come down for your third wave, and then for your fourth wave, you have a diagonal type structure. Okay? Yeah, that's what I see with VLOW. You want to look to take profit at around 10 cent, 10 to 11 cent, around here. You can take some partials here, or just ladder all the way up to 10 to 11 cent. Be about a nice 7.4x from current prices. But yeah, this is what I see on VLOW, and this is what you're going to notice. You're going to notice a 3-wave move within each of the waves. 3 up in your A, right? 3 down in your B, 3 up in your C, 3 down in your D, and then you're going to have a 3 up in your 4, or sorry, your E of your wave 4. And then you come down from there. Alright, let's take a look at, man, Fartcoin is doing good. I'm not gonna lie. Wow, look at Hex. Okay, Hex, I think Hex bottomed here. So in the last stream that I did, we took a look at Hex, and I showed that we came down to the 88.6% fib, and then we were also printing bullish, hidden bullish divergence here. Or wait, yeah, hidden bullish divergence right here. And look at that. It's following our chart perfectly. So I expect to move up to the median line at around 0.001, which from current prices would be about 70% gain. Get above the median line, then we're going to go to the upper bounds of the range at 249% from current price. But just know that once you get above this level right here, at the, I'll show you, at 0.002, once you get above that 786, then for sure it's going to have expansion. We'd be targeting 0.0047, 0.0074, 10 cent, and a little bit shy of 12 cent. So a nice 17x. Now remember, this is a very risky coin. So if you're not already exposed to this ecosystem, then don't go all in just based off this analysis, because this is kind of like a lottery coin in a way. But there's some people who are like fully in this. But yeah, I have high hopes for Hex, because it came down to our level perfectly and held. As long as we don't go back below that 886 at 0.0045, then we're good. I also pointed out that we came down to the 786 and the 886 on low volume. So this is called a low volume pullback. It's means those are weak longs taking profit. And you're likely to see a reversal. So we had a move down to extremes. Even though we had a move down to extremes, it was a low volume pullback. So it only takes one purchase with the right amount of money to see this thing get pushed up significantly. Those were my exact words in the last Pulse Chain update. And look at over here. We're already up by about 64%. So let's see how this plays out. Yeah, I think one of the members gifted a lot of people the membership. So thank you for that. I appreciate whoever that was. That's a really nice gesture. Okay, let's take a look at Bitcoin dominance. Strong BTC. Okay, yeah, so like I was showing, right? This is BTCD. So yeah, BTCD, like I showed, this was the wick. This was the wick on February 3rd. That was the Bybit hack. We filled that wick up to the 88.6% fib. You see? So it's either we see the drop from here, but if it goes above 63.86, then it's going to come up to around 66%. And it's going to top out right here. I'm extremely confident that it's going to top out here at 60. If it gets above 63.86% on the daily time frame, right over here, then it's going to top out right here. And then it's going to tank like crazy right here, right? And you can actually see that it already came up to the 786, but that's on the log scale. So very simple, right? If we get above it, then we're just going to come up to the 786 on the linear, and then we top out here, and then boom, alt season. So as you guys can see, there's not much of a runway here on Bitcoin dominance. So now is the time to accumulate alts. Now is the time. So there's not much runway left, right? It's either we topped on Bitcoin Dom now, or it just goes up a little bit more and then we top. But even then, right? This would be the best time to accumulate alts. We're already seeing some nice moves. I want to show you guys this setup here on Algo. Saw this really nice setup. Wow, look at Algo go. Let's go. I gave this to the Discord members, and congrats to anyone who got into this. Wow, look at that. All right. Yeah, this is what I see on Algo. I see it coming up about 63% to this mitigation block plus this daily FEG. That would be around equilibrium from the December high. You see it's right at EQ, right? Right around EQ, just a little bit above it. So yeah, in between the 50 and 61.8% fib. But now that's just an intermediate target. I expect Algo to go over here, right here to this breaker block plus FEG. This is your breaker back in 2021, and then on the monthly time frame, we look what we have here. Or sorry, the weekly time frame. You have this FEG. I'm not sure actually. Let me see which time frame that was. Let me see here. Was it the 2 week that I found it on, or yeah, it's the weekly. So right here, you see this guy right there. So a nice 3x on Algo, nice 3x. And look at this weekly, how it closed. Just popped right back into the range. But yeah, I see some nice moves on Algo. It's switching to bullish for sure. And look at that. On the daily, we're above this momentum indicator. You see? You see when we went above it a few times. Like here, for example, on March 2nd. But then the following day, we dumped back down below it. But this, the way it's moving like that, it looks bullish. We found support on it yesterday. And now today, we have a bullish engulfing. I want to see these highs get taken out here at 0.218. But yeah, I expect a 3x on Algo, up to this breaker block plus weekly FEG, which would also be the 61.8% fib when we take a fib from the all-time high down to the low at around 75.80 cent. Yep, this is what I see. And you can even do this just to simplify things. Just place a trend line like that. Very simple, right? Don't worry, Martin. We'll take a look at mover. Well, actually, we'll just cover it right now, because I know I've been. Okay, so here is mover. Bounced at the 886. I see a move up to this momentum line at least. Let's see where the 200-day moving average is. Yeah, right around the same area, right? I expect a 2x so far. Right up here. Okay, so right around here. 10 bucks. Get above 10 bucks, then it's on, right? Then it's game time. Boom. But for now, this will act as our main resistance. Sometimes the more simple the analysis, the better. If you overcomplicate things, you'll just shoot yourself in the foot. So all I did on Mover is just put the 200-day moving average on the chart. Considering we came down to the 886, I would say this is a sufficient enough deviation for us to see a move back to at least the 200-day. It makes sense. It just makes sense. And then from there we have to see. If you flip it, then boom, we're going right to the 786 at 26. What if it looks like this? You never know. What if this is your ABC? Okay, that's your mover analysis. Get above the 786 at 26 bucks, then it's gonna have a move up to the higher fibs. There's like a crazy concert happening outside my hotel right now. So if you guys hear music, that's where it's from. But yeah, this is what I see. These are your levels on Mover. 26, if it gets to 26, just take profit there. Because you never know. Like, remember what I said, 786 is always the magnet where you see resistance at. 26 bucks, take profit. But we need to flip 10 bucks first. This red box over here. Okay, so Vilnius is asking for FET. Can you do FET, please? I think people are missing out on that. It's most promising AI. You know, I'm bullish on FET. I'm very bullish on FET. I actually did a wave count here for my members in the Discord. So we'll take a look at it again. Kraken announces the initial rollout of US listed stock and ETF trading to be eligible to US clients. This news just came out. MicroStrategy acquires another 3,400 Bitcoin worth $285 million. Okay, so Michael Saylor just bought. Okay. All right, let's take a look at FET. Just want to find out where I put it. I think I put it in this layout. I gotta check my Discord. I just want to see which layout I put this on. Oh, okay, it's on the Binance pair. That's why. It's still not there. I don't know. Oh, there it is. This is FET. It's gonna do likely gonna do over 1,000%. As you guys can see, this is just a leading diagonal, right? Where you have an ABC within each of the waves here. You see, I'm showing you guys all of these coins. Doesn't look bearish, right? You see altcoins held structure. Very interesting. Market dynamics. Everything held. Nothing broke structure really. You see how there's an ABC here within each of the waves? Now, what I'm expecting here on fetch, as long as these lows hold, is for us to have a rounded bottom. It's going to take time to carve out. Don't get impatient. So this is either a triangle pattern, but I think it's a leading diagonal, like this. Boom. Then you have an A, B, C, like that. Now all I did to find these fibs, so I just took a fib from the all-time high here down to the low. And just to avoid the noise, we can just remove the intermediate fibs. Like, let's just remove all these intermediate fibs that we have here. Okay? You can even take a look at it on the log scale. So around 572 to around 10 bucks. That's where you want to get out as we approach this last all-time high. As soon as you get above this high, just to be safe, right? You want to start laddering out. And then this would be your wave one. So this would be your wave one. And then you have an ABC down for your wave two, for your bear, and then we come up for your three. Makes sense. Pretty simple. This is probably, and then it's probably going to form a little bit of an inverted head and shoulders pattern, and then pop off above this neckline. So yeah, that's FET. Yeah, let's take a look at CRV. Antonio, I looked at Algo. We went into Algo extensively, actually. Algo is going to 3x, no doubt. All right, let's take a look at CRV. Bullish on CRV, guys. Super bullish. I actually made a chart here for my Discord members. And I was telling them that we have a change of character. Okay, so this is the 30-minute. So we can take a look here at the 30-minute time frame and just break down this price structure over here, this price action. We're trending down this whole time, and then we see this move. And then you go ahead and take out this high. You see you take out this high on February 11th. Then there you go. There's your change of character. So then after your change of character, you usually have a retrace back down to a very important level. In this case, we came down to the 786 right over here. You see how we perfectly tapped the 786? Like perfectly. This is all algo. This is all algorithmic trading. Come down to the 786 for a retracement, and then we have continuation of the trend in a 5-wave move. You have a break of structure because we broke above this high. But where did we tap into? We tapped into this high time frame supply. So this is your high time frame supply here. You see this daily fair value gap? Hence why we're finding some resistance here. So it wouldn't surprise me if CRV came down just a little bit, just to tap into these 4-hour inefficiencies. These 4-hour inefficiencies before we continue the trend higher. But overall, CRV is bullish. It's trending bullish. That was just a small time frame I was showing you. So it may come down a bit and then continue higher. So we already know on the small time frame we have bullish order flow. Now we're going to try to find our 5th wave target. To find our 5th wave target, we're going to do two things. We're going to take a trend-based fib from the bottom of our wave 1 to the top of our wave 3 and down to the bottom of our wave 4 here. And let's just take a look at all of these fibs here. All right. Then we can take a fib from the all-time high down to the bear market low. Take a look on the log scale. And yeah, we'd be targeting look where the 1-to-1 extension is. It's right near it's right near the 702. Okay. So we have 229 to 256. And then what you can also do to find some more confluence is take a fib. When you want to find your wave 5 target, you take a fib from the top of your wave 3 down to the bottom of your wave 4. And let's see what we get. And take a look at it on the linear scale. And look where the 2.786 is. And right there at the 786. Okay? This is where you want to look to exit your CRV. At these two levels. Okay, very simple. All you got to do is just take a fib from the all-time high down to the bear market low. You want to look to exit at the 702 and the 786. Very, very simple, right? And now all we did to find confluence is we took a trend-based fib to this, and then we also took a regular fib from the top of our wave 3 down to the bottom of our wave 4. And as you guys can see, we're seeing a lot of the fibs lining up with each other. So then you get these targets here. So from current price, we're looking at about a 3 to 4x. So it's looking okay. It's fine. Small time frame looks good. High time frame looks good. This is KDA. Okay? This is your accumulation range. It's a nice setup. As soon as you get a daily close above 0.426, it's game on. It's going right to 162. 162. But yeah, market looks fine, guys. Looks okay. Nothing really bad has happened structurally. S&P, let's see what's going on. Let's go on the 30-minute, 5-minute. Finding a little resistance here. Let's take a look at ES. Yeah, it's looking fine. It's all good. No one asked about VET. We'll take a look at VET. We'll take a look at Phil for sure. You know, Phil, very same structure as Dent. I'll tell you why. Because it's printed a head and shoulders pattern at the lows. Whenever you have a head and shoulders pattern at the lows, it's actually a bullish sign. This is Phil, right here. 3 up in your A, 3 down in your B, and then 5-wave move up for your C. You can kind of consider this structure like Wyckoff redistribution, almost like the DXY, right? Like if you take a look at the DXY, you see how we had a pause in market structure? You had your 3 up in your A, 3 down in your B, and then a 5-wave move up for your expansion. Or I should say distribution. No, not much different than Filecoin. I want to show you guys something crazy. Guys, how long have I been streaming? I don't even know. Let me see. Yeah, we'll take a look at VeChain, no problem. I just want to show you guys the comparison. These comparisons. Do you guys see this? How the market maker works? This is how the market maker works. They trick everyone into thinking that it's over when they bring the price below psychological support. They do this all the time. Time and time again. Okay? It's all the same stuff. Okay. Do you guys notice any similarities here? I'm gonna go get some water. I'll be back. One sec. Yeah, exactly, Ricky. Fake out. Alright, let's take a look at Flare. Now, I want to show you guys something really cool. Take a look at Flare. It's the exact same thing as Sologenic. May have a little retrace here though on Flare, but I think it's something similar. SEC delays staking for the Grayscale Spot ETH ETF. Canada is set to launch Sol ETFs this week after regulatory green light. Let's take a look at ETH real quick. ETH is looking great. Look where it came down to. Came down to the 618. Not bad. Came down to the 786 on the linear. I think this may be a huge bear trap, honestly. I just want to see this level get flipped. This level right here. Because it's looking okay. Look where we came down to. And for all of my Pulse chain guys, this is good news if ETH is bottomed. Wow, look at Hex go. I think ETH is going to take out these highs. It's going to come back for it. I know it. So Antonio, the best way to contact me, you can actually message me on Patreon. So just click the link in the in the description of the live, click Patreon/Discord, and then you can become a member and then just message me. I think you can become a free member and message me. I'm not sure, but I definitely want to see you all in the Discord for sure. I think the best way to be the closest to me and my TA is just come to the Discord. That would be the best way, because like I can't live stream all the time. I can't make videos all the time because yeah, like there's a lot of work that I have to put in for the coin requests in the Discord already. So yeah, I want to see you guys all in there for sure, and then can take a look at all your coins. But yeah, we're gonna take a look at the S&P and the Bitcoin. Yeah, bro. But yeah, we're gonna take a look at the S&P and the Bitcoin one more time, and then we may end the stream. But yeah, this is my S&P 500 wave count. Looks fine. Doesn't look too bearish. This was just a wave 4. This could have been a wave 4. There's no guarantee. But what if this was just forming a bigger base so we can have this wave 5? Because this was a very shallow wave 2. If you have a shallow wave 2, then the law of alternation in the Elliott wave theory says we're going to have a little bit more of a longer wave 4, or more drawn out wave 4. We should be okay. Like I have good vibes. I'm getting good vibes from the market. Like just by looking at it technically, not like totally relying on that, but looking at it technically, I see that it looks pretty good. Like even if you take a look at the weekly, you have this piercing line pattern. See this piercing line pattern here? If you go on Google and type in piercing line pattern, this exact pattern is going to pop up. It's actually a very bullish reversal structure. But yeah, let's take a look at Bitcoin. Let me see. How long have I been streaming for? I don't even know. 3 hours? It's crazy. Okay, yeah, this is Bitcoin. We just want to see a move above 85,956, guys. That's all we want to see right now. Or that's what bulls want to see, I should say. Once you get above that line, then yeah, it's likely we're going to go to the 50% at 91.7. I believe there's over like, I don't know, $5 to $10 billion in liquidation around here. Around this level. Around the 90K region. We'll see how it plays out. But yeah, I just wanted to hop on this live just to show you that the market looks fine still. The stock market took a hit. It's very evident of that. But like I'm looking at alts and they're holding up fine so far. And if Bitcoin can just flip 85,956 into support and then get above the 50, should be okay. Let's take a quick glance at XRP. On the 4 hour, let's put our momentum indicator on there. Still holding. All I want to see is a move above this level right here. You guys see this level? As soon as you get above that level, then we're going to this. $231, $247, $259, and $271. In this scenario where we lose this level right here, it's $1.80 to $1.75, then it's likely that the correction is not done yet, and we're going to come down to around $1.55 right here. Or sorry, it would actually be, if this move up was corrective, it would actually come down to around $1.28 to $1.35. But my bias is this isn't corrective. It's actually, I think this could be the bottom. This could be Wyckoff reaccumulation here, where this was your spring, this was your creek. You see how you're creaking down? You're creaking down very, very slowly, grinding down, and then all of a sudden, you have this slam. You see how you slam down, and then you immediately retract back into the range. So as long as we can stay above these range lows here, at $1.90, then that would be very bullish. We'd be okay for higher. But yeah. Yeah, Flare was a good gift for the XRP holders. I agree on that. All right, guys. Oh, yeah. Mina is asking for Rose and Matic. Okay, yeah, no problem. Matic is bullish on Matic still. As much as people hate that coin because it's just been going down, but I actually see positive things on it. Let's see where I put that count. Let me see here. Just trying to find out where I put it. I think I put it on this layout. Oh, there we go. Okay, so this is the bullish and the bearish scenario on Matic. I think it's going to do the bullish scenario. The bullish scenario is we flip 0.514 on the daily, and then we go up to around 740 to 12. See, you had a very simple wave 2, hence why we have such a long and complex wave 4. And we came down to the 1-to-1 extension. So if you take a trend, if you want to measure this C wave or this third leg to the downside, you're going to take a trend-based fib from this high down to this low and up to the counter trend. And you can see that we came down to the 100% fib over here. You guys see that? We have a 1-to-1 extension of the C wave. And then we also came down, when you take a fib from March 2020 lows, just before we had the bull market, we came down to the 50% fib. So this could be the bottom, or at least a local bottom. And then we come up to around 0.514, and then taking a look here at the RSI, we have, I believe we have hidden bullish divergence here. Class C bullish divergence, so lower lows, but then equal lows on the weekly RSI. Let's take a look at the daily. Daily, it is bullish divergence. Lower lows and slight higher lows on the RSI. Okay, looks fine. Let's take a look at rows. Okay, Rose got hammered. Let me see here. Let me see if this is the full chart. Just making sure. It's hard to make a bullish scenario on Rose. Like, what if it's... This is your 5-wave move down. You can clearly count 5 waves. This is your 3-wave move up. And this is your 3 waves down. We'll probably come up for a 4th wave. You may even overlap into this wave 1 territory, tag the 200-day sitting at 0.0649, and then come down for a wave 5. But regardless, it would still be about 156% gain. Or this can just totally get invalidated and we go back above this level. So I would want to see a move. I'd want to see daily closure above 0.054 in order to confirm that this move here was just deviation. But so far this is a little bit too far. This is deviated a little bit too far to consider it valid deviation. So I don't know. Either we come up for a wave 4 and then we come down, or we get above this level on the daily and then we take out these highs, your internal range liquidity and then your external buy side. Right? We'll have to see level for level. But it looks okay. It doesn't look too bad. But yeah, that's Rose. I like this recovery though on XRP. How it just recovered like that. Almost like this on Flare, right? You have this fake out. We'll have to see. Yeah. So yeah, Dean, I just checked Matic. I checked KDA Mohammed. Cape Town Rocks, we checked Matic. I think it goes to around 12. Or the bearish scenario, it goes to around 54 cent. ATOM? Yeah, sure. We'll take a look at ATOM and then we'll end the stream, guys. It's been a pretty long stream, and but don't worry, we'll do another one. Okay, this is ATOM. Sorry, Atom. This is your structural support. Nice inverted head and shoulders pattern. Left shoulder, head, right shoulder. Sorry, they're just putting fireworks outside. You may hear that. Targeting this mitigation block plus fair value gap at the 786, or sorry, yeah, 702. There's Atom. Okay. This is a minimum target. 94% is the minimum target. And then we have okay, that's Atom. Holding structural support, it looks good so far. And yeah, you know, very similar structure to that of what Cake did. You know, if you take a look at Cake, you can see that we had deviation below. See? The only difference is that Cake was a straight line up, while Cosmos is printing a compression pattern. So yeah, that's the stream, guys. I'll try to do another stream later tonight, but if I don't, then probably tomorrow. If you want to get in contact with me, then click the link in the description below to join the Discord. I look forward to seeing you all in there. I can answer all your questions and you can talk to me personally. Peace out and take it easy. It's really nice having you guys in here today. Peace out.